The Republican Party circa 2018 was still coming to grips that Trump was in charge.
Mm-hmm.
The Republican Party of 2022 showed it was clearly Trump was in charge. Do we know the answer yet of the Republican Party in 2026? Is it closer to being the 2018 version or the 2022 version? How much is it his party?
We've seen a lot more cracks in that Republican coalition behind Trump as we get toward the end of the year here. Indiana Republicans rejected a gerrymander in recently that Trump really wanted, but you've seen other states fall in line with that as well. Like you said, there's not been as much turnover in the Trump's cabinet right now. There's a lot of people, all the Republicans are rowing in the same direction here. And what we're not seeing, though, is people running away from Trump. Even as his approval ratings are going down, we're not seeing these vulnerable Republicans put a lot of daylight between them.
So there are these little cracks. And I guess the question is, does this sort of, sometimes a crack suddenly becomes a giant chasm. There's Thomas Massey. They've threatened him with a primary challenge. He doesn't look like he's in trouble. Marjorie Taylor Greene stood up to him and she didn't seem to care. The Indiana Republicans, as you mentioned, are Republicans going to run with Trump or start to find distance when they have, because they're on the ballot, he's not.
Right. I don't think it will be explicit as we have to run to be a check on a Democratic House. What you're going to see is something similar to what Matt Van Epps did in Tennessee. Now, he's the Republican who won that special election in Tennessee 7, the old Mark Green seat, and he underperformed the top of the ticket. The seat Trump won by 22 points. But if you watch his ads and you put his ads next to the Democrat who was a big progressive, and you watch them blind, you could not tell the difference. They were both running on
I didn't see the word Trump in any of his ads.
Correct. He never mentioned Trump at all in a district that Trump carried by 22 points. He's talking about lowering cost of goods, lowering the cost of health care, and lowering taxes. Again, if you close your eyes and watch the Democrats ad, they had the same message.
All right. In 2006, Republicans didn't say Bush's name because they knew it was a problem. In 2014, many Democrats didn't talk about Obama's name.
Right.
That's usually, as much as that might individually help somebody, that's collectively kind of a tell, is it not?
It absolutely is. And what's interesting is that Matt Van Epps, even in his victory speech, talked about how the one way forward for Republicans here is running with Trump. But if you watch his ads, it's a whole different story.
Let me look at the Democratic side, because if there is a difference between 2017 and 2025, I would argue it is sort of the confidence in leadership. 2017, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi had a lot of influence and control over their party.
Right.
Fast forward to 2025, you still have one of the two main characters still there in Chuck Schumer. Hakeem Jeffries is now the leader of the House Democrats. They seem to be leaders without followers right now. Is it that stark, or am I exaggerating?
I think it's definitely a much weaker leadership class. Chuck Schumer has gotten only 8 years older since his first go around in the first Trump term. Hakeem Jeffries is still proving himself, and plus Nancy Pelosi is still behind the scenes doing her Nancy Pelosi things. Like one of the things that she's been credited for is her and Gavin Newsom, that successful redraw of the California lines. And
does that undermine Jeffries, though?
I think it does. And I think I was talking in the newsroom the other day about if we fast forward beyond 2026 to 2029, are these 4 congressional leaders that we have right now going to be the same ones? I think the only one who survives is maybe Thune.
I was just going to say, is he the tallest little person?
I think that's
so
right.
Be a little politically correct because it feels as if he also, I've heard lots of grumbling from Senate Republicans who wish that Thune would be more of a protector on certain votes where, Mitch McConnell didn't have a problem making sure they weren't going to vote on R.F. Kennedy,
right?
Or have to vote on Pete Hegseth. He might take the bullet for them. Thune won't do that right now.
Not right now, but again, this is his first term in leadership here. Mitch McConnell's knows the old tricks and everything. He's battle tested.
Right.
Give him some time. I think one of his biggest victories is preserving the filibuster right now, despite Trump's pressure.
Yeah.
Where yes, Senate Republicans have to do some tough votes right now, but he's been keeping the institution as a whole.
All right, let's get into a little bit of 2026. Let's talk about the redistricting wars. You guys have been tracking this very closely. I want to set aside this potential, the Supreme Court sort of getting rid of the Voting Rights Act. I've seen some Democratic catastrophic numbers are saying that could cost them 20 seats, 18 to 20 seats. I think that's a 2028 or 2030 problem, not necessarily a 2026 problem. So I want to stick to the redistricting. Given that Virginia looks likely to do this, and they seem to have the public support to do it, Democrats have been surprisingly united on this.
Right.
At the end of the day, come November 2026, the redistricting is what, a +2 to 4 advantage for the Republicans at best?
At best. I mean,
Right, it could end up being even, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's a great time of year right now to look back at all the things I got wrong this year.
Yeah.
And you and I were sitting here a few months ago, right when this redistricting push was starting.
Right.
And I said that Republicans could probably draw themselves into the majority in the next 2 months before the end of the year here. That's not how it went at all. Democrats put up a real solid defense. They ran up the score in areas.
Look, I didn't believe they could pull off California because of the logistics hurdles, not going to voters, making, and I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger would be a more formidable political opponent of it, and he really wasn't, and maybe part of it was his heart wasn't in it. We don't know for sure, but you can't underestimate the Democratic unity on this campaign.
No, the National Party might be divided right now. They might be having wars over the groups. They might be having wars over the direction of the party right now. But on redistricting, they're really united on this, and they've been able to run up the score in their areas.
Look, you and I both know Virginia really well. Virginia, the genteel political state, the idea that they would do this, I would have said no chance 6 months ago. Now it's like, oh yeah, they're going to do this.
Absolutely. That could net them 2 to 3 seats right there.
Now, Republicans will probably Florida as well, right? That's they have one more card to play.
Right.
And it's Florida. They could get 2 to 3, 2 to 4, they think, right?
Probably around 3 or so, but given the current political environment right now, even under their best case scenarios, like Texas is probably, they redrew 5 districts to favor Republicans. They're probably favored in only 2 of those outright. So
we have this, one of my concerns about redistricting is that I was actually going to get rid of competition. The playing field, the number of races that will feel contested by mid-October 2026 in the House, north of south of 40?
I would say south of 40. As we sit here right now, the Cook Political Report ranks 17 races as toss-ups.
If you throw in the 2 leans, where does that get you?
That gets us about 20 or so, 20 additional seats.
Yeah. So close to 40, but you think under.
I think
so 40 is a good over-under on that?
I think 40 is a good over-under right now. If we're trying to do odds making right now, I would say 40 and a half. I would take the under on that.
But at this point, it's Democrats that are favored to pick up the House.
Absolutely. It would be at this point, I think it's safe to say it would be a massive disappointment if Democrats didn't flip the House.
One more question on House races. Mike Johnson, is he Speaker? Is he still Speaker come Election Day 2026?
That's a question we've been talking a lot about at Hotline right now. If you look at the rate of retirements right now, there have been about 28 or so House Republicans who are not running for re-election. They might be running for Senate.